welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge, and we're going to talk about something very important about January, or rather, how to survive the January blues, a January survival guide. It is that time of the year again, January. Several words have been used to describe this month. It is the longest, slowest, hottest, toughest, and so forth. With all the December and New Year dramas behind, it is time to face the humdrum times again. January is often considered the longest month because many people are paid their salaries on the 21st to 24th of December and have to wait until the end of February for the next pay slip. For businesses, January is the slowest month of the year because people do not spend on anything else except the bare necessities. If you're in the luxury business, earnings take a nosedive. The Kenyan summer starts in earnest every January. Not to mention the heat and the traffic jams, all these take their toll. January is considered tough because there are numerous bills pending. School fees tops the list, followed by various arrears and other unresolved financial issues. To help you ease your way through January, here are some practical tips. Number 1, you need to recover from December. If you spend the last fortnight or so doing nothing but indulging, you're probably feeling unfit and sluggish. Spend January on light meals and plenty of water. A fruit and vegetable diet will not only be easy on your pocket, but will reflect positively on your waistline too. Walking every day will help you revitalize your natural energy. Watching your wallet. Make a list of the items you will need to keep you going. Stick to the bare necessities. No luxuries. Ladies, avoid pedicures, spas, shower gels, Chinese dinners, and so forth. That is how you will survive January. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge, wishing you a happy new year.
This could be your sister, brother, or you. Say no to gender-based violence. Say no to GBV. Protect them. Report any incident on toll-free line 1195. This message is brought to you by the Government of Kenya.
What's up, people? This is your boy DJ Shinsky. Catch me live this Friday on Easy Friday, only on KBC Channel 1. And I want to wish you guys a happy new year, happy 2022. See you guys.
Baby, kona, will you give me sugar? Wala.
The KBC Board of Directors, Management and Staff wishes all our esteemed listeners, viewers and clients Happy New Year and a prosperous 2022. We wish you peace, joy and prosperity throughout the coming year. Thank you for your continued support and partnership.
Good afternoon, my friend.
If you are here to ruin my day by rubbing your victory on my face, walk away.
Hey, someone is in a good mood today.
And that is because for the very first time after a very long time, I woke up from the bed.
Aki, why don't you give me your followers since you're becoming a nun?
Good afternoon, class. My name is Radiant Vera, your new lecturer.
I'm sorry, weren't you supposed to report tomorrow?
Yeah, that is very true, but you see, today I was very idle, and you know what they say about an idle mind, you know that.
Excuse me, this is a business management class.
So?
What does love got to do with it?
And you just sold my car 10,000 shillings!
But you still think they are pastors?
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Good evening, welcome to Prime Edition. Now, some of the stories that we have for you. A crisis might be looming in Kakamega. We have the details for you. And Education CS says that it is okay for children to be tested for drugs. We will be having those details for you. And in business, details on fish farming, that and more coming up shortly. But first, let's have the highlights. A shutdown looms in Kakamega over the Raila Odinga-led Bukungu's second declaration meeting that has been shunned by other Western Kenya leaders. Political acrimony bars Parliament from dispensing with the political party's amendment bill even after banning the midnight oil.
A drug test is very thoroughly in order because children are using drugs. Government of the Republic of Kenya will deal very firmly with the children who are actually criminals.
Education CS Professor George Magoha supports a mandatory drug test for students of Maranda High School before resuming classes after Ason incident. Our interpreter today is Leslie Odingo and I am Cynthia Nyamai. Remember, we would love to hear from you. You can send us information on stories that you'd like to hear and also your feedback on KBC on Instagram, also on Facebook and also on Twitter. Now to the first story that I had earlier introduced, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has welcomed the directive by Maranda High School to have all learners tested for drug use before they can be readmitted to the institution. Magoha said there was no doubt some learners use drugs and that the move will help in identifying and isolating errant students even as schools are set to reopen next week for third term. Wycliffe Okech with the details.
Professor Magoha, who spoke in Kisumu after addressing a conference of national school heads and subsequently breaking ground for the construction of a CBC classroom at Obuolo Secondary School in Kisumu East Sub-County, said the move by Maranda High School to have all learners tested for drug use before readmission to the institution will go a long way in addressing cases of indiscipline among learners.
A drug test is very thoroughly in order because children are using drugs. Are you doubting it? Are you doubting it, my friend? Thank you. So I don't know why you want me to comment on the obvious. And let me tell you, we love our children. When we do that, it's not because we hate our children.
Magoha has in the recent past supported the reintroduction of caning in schools to stem the runaway indiscipline. The CS has also urged parents to monitor closely the behavior of their children to inculcate the required discipline.
The government of the Republic of Kenya will deal very firmly with the children who are actually criminals. what will you call a child who is burning a boarding school, a boarding house? And the answer starts from home. The answer starts from home. So I'm urging the parents, including you, I'm a grandparent, can we spend time with our children where we take them through the University of Life?
This as the CS revealed that capitation for third term has been done and funds will be in schools' accounts by next week, warning school heads against sending learners home for school fees.
The money for third term this year is going to be in the accounts next week. So please let no teacher send any child home. Those are the children who are boarders. Primary school is free, and if anybody sends any child home, we should be notified so that we take very firm action.
At the same time, CS Magoha said the 10,000 CBC classrooms directed by President Uhuru Kenyatta should be ready by April to facilitate the rollout of the first phase of the competency-based curriculum. For Prime Edition, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Now, a showdown looms in Kakamega County tomorrow over the political rally at Bukungu Stadium to endorse ODM leader Raila Odinga's presidential bid. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli says everything is set for the Bukungu 2 declaration, even as opponents of the rally allied to ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi have dismissed it and organized a parallel sports event at Mumia's complex.
Political heavyweights in Kakamega are set to lock horns tomorrow over the popularization of Azimio la Umoja in the region. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli, who is the convener of the meeting, says it's all systems go and tomorrow's rally will be a key determinant on Luya leadership.
This is more or less Western Kenya Azimio declaration, because what Azimio is for Umoja. What we are championing for is for unity, and particularly working men and women of this country who have suffered after every 5 years.
According to Atwoli and area governor Wycliffe Oparanya, tomorrow's meeting will chart the route for Mulembe Nation in the forthcoming general elections.
Political rally for the Western Kenya is only one, is this one. If you miss to be here tomorrow, my friend, forget about being a leader in this region. That one I can assure you for free. For free!
The old sitting arrangement has been agreed, and I once again just invite all people who like Azimio la Umoja movement to be here. This is not a party affair, this is not an ODM affair, but this is a national affair. People who believe in the Azimio la Umoja movement that has been started by Raila Amolo Odinga.
Their political opponents from the region have, however, dismissed the Bukungu rally as an attempt to hoodwink the Luya community of their unity while endorsing parochial interests.
Mkutano gani ya Waluya ati iko na watu wa Bondo na watu wa Kongo ati wanakuja kuimba Lingala ya Ndombolo kule Bukungu? Haiwezekani bana. All the Luyas will be here. Na hapa ndio muungano wa Waluya. This is where we are going to put a declaration that is going to shake this country come 2022.
Raila Odinga na Francis Atwoli kama Wakenya wengine wowote wana haki ya kuwaita watu popote katika taifa la Kenya waongee pamoja. Hii ni haki yao ya kidemokrasia ya kizalendo. Lakini ukiwa unaita mkutano wa familia yako, hauwezi kuita kiongozi wa familia jirani akaja kwa mkutano wa siri wa familia yako. Sasa wao mkutano wa Atwoli na Raila Odinga, tukitaka familia ya Muluya kuwa na mkutano wao, tutaita.
For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Let's move away from politics for a little bit to matters education, where the Teachers Service Commission, TSC, is sourcing money from the National Treasury to employ more teachers to curb the looming crisis of teachers in schools. TSC Chairman Dr. Jamlek Mutui John said about 25,000 teachers will retire in 2 years, worsening the current shortage of teachers. But even as he outlined measures being taken by the government to address teacher shortage, the Kenya National Union of Teachers has demanded resumption of talks on teachers' pay hike.
Speaking at the closing of the 17th Annual Primary Head Teachers Delegates Conference in Mombasa, Teachers Service Commission Chair Dr. Jamlek Muturi regretted that the retirement of 25,000 teachers in 2 years' time will exacerbate the shortage of teachers in the country.
We are working with all stakeholders. We have consulted, and Madam Antonina is aware of that, with the Parliament for more funding, because the national government gives us money to recruit at least 5,000 teachers per year.
He said the commission is still pleading with the national government to provide more funds for recruitment and staff balancing in the learning institutions.
We are still pleading with the national government to give us more money so that we recruit more teachers, and we also try to do proper staff balancing so that all institutions have at least adequate teachers.
But the teachers' employer grappled with the teacher shortage. The Kenya National Union of Teachers is posing another challenge. Secretary General may also have to look for more funds. At the same time, the NAT Secretary General Collins Oyu says it is now time to resume talks on teachers' pay hike that had been shelved for 2 years.
We are out here to call upon the employer through the government of this country that we sit back and start negotiations once more, focusing on the increment of our salaries.
Oyu said NAT had adopted an accommodative approach in dealing with the government and urged TSC to reciprocate the gesture.
We have followed the guidelines of the SRC to the letter without making any noise when there was that freeze. But this one should not subject our teachers to be beggars in this republic.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
Back to politics now, where the National Assembly on Wednesday failed to dispense with the contentious Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021 despite calling for a second special sitting that stretched all the way to 2 a.m. During the heated sessions, the House, however, voted to include a slogan as grounds for registration of a political party and giving powers to the office of the registrar to either accept or decline registration of a political party.
The office of the Registrar of Political Parties will now have more powers to either accept or decline registration of political parties and usage of party slogans after Parliament approved Clause 7 in the contentious Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021.
In the absence of, Mr. Speaker, in the absence of a definition of what a doctrine means, in the absence of a definition of what of ideals of a party means, this clause is subject to abuse and can be used by the registrar to deny the people of Kenya and to deny the rights given under Article 38 of the Constitution on political rights, and this is negates the principle and the spirit provided for multipartism in the Constitution.
We are trying to create political parties that have a certain ideology, that have a certain direction, and for us to be taken back to the dark days when parties sprang up without any ideology except some sloganeering in the public rallies is what we want those sloganeering to be put within the ideology of the political party so that people can know whether to relate with a party or not. I beg to oppose and ask the House to oppose this amendment.
Speaker, a party, anyone wishing to form a party in this country must be clear on the ideologies and principles of that party. That is a problem that we have been having, where people form briefcase parties without even thinking what they stand for. And I want to oppose and ask all honorable members that this is something we must all defeat.
In the special sitting that was largely marred by drama,
what is happening is that there is a scheme to scuttle this bill.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, I've done it before, but in the meantime,
order members.
155 members of parliament against 127 also voted to approve Clause 7 of the Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021 that seeks to establish coalition political party.
It seeks to create coalition political party
which does not exist. The word coalition political party, chair, does not exist within the constitution.
The House also approved Clause 5 of the bill that requires statements of ideologies for the formation of political parties, and Clause 3 barring parties from using rivals' political parties' dominant color.
That Clause 5, just hold your horses. That Clause 5 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Duale. Will as members of that opinion say aye? Will as members of a contrary opinion say nay? The nays have it.
Parties are identified by colors. If the dominant party, if we look at party like ODM, ODM is identified by orange. Jubilee is identified by red. Wiper is identified by white, and so on and so forth. If we leave dominant color, there is a likelihood that people will take up other parties' colors later on, and we can have confusion. Madam Speaker, we want to identify a congregation by colors. Any meeting that we shall have out there, or when the members of our party are meeting, they need to be identified by color. And that is why I'm proposing that we add dominant color as one of the what is supposed to be launched with the registrar of political parties.
The House that was later adjourned past midnight is likely to be recalled again to consider the remaining clauses of the bill aimed at having far-reaching reforms on the 2022 political landscape ahead of the 2022 general elections.
Now, the pandemonium that took Parliament's better part of Wednesday afternoon during the debate on the controversial Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021 has been termed as inappropriate. Kenyans have given varied reactions on the altercations that emerged on the floor of the House, causing members to engage in fistfights. A section of angry Kenyans have described the events as a disgrace to the nation, saying the lawmakers ought to lead by example.
While it may not be expected to have dull moments when matters of national and public interest are before the floor of the House, Kenyans may not have anticipated that lawmakers would fail to control their emotions on the contentious Political Parties Amendment Bill 2021 debate. The House degenerated into chaos, pitting lawmakers allied to UDA against those supporting the Azimio la Umoja movement. But the unruliness in a house of lawmakers has angered Kenyans.
It was really a trait of what I would call unethical behavior coming from our members of parliament, because we saw them exchanging blows in the floor of the House, something which I think is totally unacceptable at this day, age and time.
Kitu ya kwanza ni aibu kubwa sana ile picha tuliona jana katika bunge letu, kwa sababu wala watu wako kule ni watu tunaita waheshimiwa na wanafaa kubehave na heshima.
Kenyans saying what was expected of the leaders was a sober conversation and mature debates that would enlighten the mwananchi on the crucial bills.
Wanafaa kuwa na moral values zenye wanatufunza, but sasa venye wana react zao wanatuangusha.
The only problem we have ni wale viongozi tuko nao waliacha kuhudumia wananchi, waliacha kuhudumia waliowapigia kura, wakaanza kuhudumia viongozi wa vyama.
Kenyans say as representatives of the people, they should put the interest of Kenyans before their own. But what was displayed yesterday was the complete opposite.
Zile masheria wanafaa kuwa wanapitisha sheria za kusaidia Wanjiku, ndizo tunaomba sisi ziweze kupitishwa.
Meanwhile, politics took center stage at the Kuria Community Cultural Day in Migori as a section of legislators from the Kuria community vowed to rally the community behind Deputy President William Ruto's bid to State House.
Kwa hivyo sisi mpango wetu ni UDA, mfumo ni hiyo bottom up, na mpango ni huo. So sisi tuko hapo, na ninaamini kwamba Wakuria tutatembea barabara hiyo.
They have at the same time called for peaceful coexistence.
Tunaomba kwamba siasa hizo za kupingana zisiwe siasa za matusi, ziwe siasa za sera na siasa za maendeleo.
Sisi vile tutafanya siasa, mheshimiwa, umetuonyesha mheshimiwa Kitayama. Watu wetu wa hapa Kuria wanakaa chini vile wamakaa, hakuna mambo ya tialala na tibim, wanasikiza kila mtu, wanapiga makofi, lakini wataamua vile wanataka. Ukweli ama sio ukweli?
And Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure, Chris Obure, has declared his quest to run for KBC County gubernatorial seat in the next year's general elections.
So I have decided today to make that pronouncement that I will be a candidate for the position of governor in KBC County in next year's elections.
The former KBC senator claimed Jubilee Party delegates have been urging him to consider running for the position. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Well, what a shame, but we always are looking forward to hearing from you. That's what some of you Kenyans think about yesterday's incident. And we're not the only ones who love hearing from you. KRA might be changing their name, and they'd love to hear from the public some suggestions. That and more coming up shortly after the break.
Life is precious. Do not gamble with it. Say no to bad driving. Treat your safety as your best love. Let no driver take it away from you. Protect it. Insist on safe driving. Your loved ones are waiting for you. Do not let them down. Drive safely. Highway safety is our responsibility. Speak out against bad driving. Endesha gari taratibu na kwa makini. Usikubali haraka iwe ndo mwisho wako. This message is brought to you by the Government of Kenya.
Why do you want to settle out of court?
No, this case has actually dragged us way too long.
You don't pay me at all.
What? We are on the same team. And I'm your captain.
So what deal do you have in mind then?
Allowing that man into your own house is entirely based on you.
Yes, it is. Personal audit. You can keep it that way.
But
I will have to part with something small.
the door is this way.
I'm not going to let you come between me and my wife.
My brother already did it for me.
Welcome back, and now for the COVID update, where Kenya recorded 3,286 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday from a sample of 11,703 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate is now at 28.1%. From the cases, 2,851 are Kenyans, while 435 are foreigners. The total confirmed positive cases now stand at 292,237 out of the over 3 million samples screened in the country so far. Unfortunately, 4 patients have succumbed to the disease, 1 in the last 24 hours, while 3 are late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in the month of December 2021. This brings the cumulative fatalities at 5,376. As of December 29th, over 9.8 million vaccines have been administered across the country. Now let's move on. Still on health matters, where the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, has extended the current contract for a period of 1 month effective 1st of January 2022. The insurer says that the move is aimed at according more time to service providers to review the new contracts. The healthcare providers have wanted the contract revoked, said they were not consulted in coming up with the terms of including costs of procedures.
It is the new contract for the National Health Insurance Fund for the year 2022-2024 that has come under criticism from healthcare providers led by their unions. The unions, including the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, Kenya Medical Association and the Kenya Pediatric Association, saying that they were not consulted in coming up with the terms, including cost of procedures, and want the contract revoked.
Some of the costs that have been put in some of the services go way below even the buying the equipment that are needed for the procedures. And this actually will end up affecting the public, because then you'll go to a hospital, whether it's private or public, and being asked to top up. But then NHIF has gone ahead to say there's no co-payment, which then means that many of the Kenyans will not be able to get these services.
They have further urged their members not to sign the contract until proper stakeholder engagement is conducted.
A mutually agreed upon contract will ensure as a country that we do achieve our universal health coverage aspirations to provide access, and I insist, to quality healthcare services without the devastating out-of-pocket expenditure to mwananchi.
Yesterday, the fund made a decision to extend by 1 month from end of December to end of January, to allow also that logistical, and also to accommodate those who have not had a chance to look at it, because also as a contract it is a legal document between the fund and the healthcare provider.
The contract, among other issues, has placed the amount to be reimbursed to health facilities for renal dialysis care at a maximum of 6,500 shillings per session and a maximum of 3 sessions per week. This is down from the initial 9,500 reimbursement per session.
With the dialysis, we were previously only allowing up to 2 sessions per week. In the new benefit structure, we have increased that to 3 sessions per week. And this means that we are able now to cover for those patients who are suffering more severe forms of end-stage renal disease, and they are not getting the 3rd session. So, and for those who could not afford, that was also a danger to their lives.
Nancy Okware, Prime Edition.
Now to an ongoing story that we have been following up for you. The legal team for Deputy President William Ruto's digital strategist, Dennis Itumbi, wants officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation to suspend interrogating him over his kidnapping until he has stabilized from the injuries inflicted on him by his abductors. They were speaking at Kiambu Police Station, where Boniface Makoha, who took Itumbi to hospital, had gone to record a statement. Itumbi was abducted on 23rd December, then assaulted and released several hours later.
He had injuries both on the eyes, on the face, and on the knees. So what I did, I just wrapped him with the bed sheet, then rushed him to Hainema. Then after that, he was able to recall the number for the brother, that is David Itumbi. Then I called the number, I explained to them where we were. Then they came.
We find no basis or justification as to why somebody would insist on taking a statement from a patient who is in ICU.
Police in Githunguri have launched a manhunt of a 24-year-old man alleged to have defiled a 5-year-old minor in Duduriki village in Githunguri sub-county, leaving her with a serious infection. The suspect, identified as Paul Thuo, is still at large.
The Monday evening incident left this family with more questions than answers. The innocence of their 5-year-old girl stolen by her 24-year-old cousin who allegedly defiled her. According to the victim's father, Joseph Waweru, he was in the house taking a nap after work when the unthinkable happened.
Akakuja akachukua mtoto akateremka na huko chini. Saa mimi baadaye ndio mamake alikuwa aja akaniita, nilikuwa nimelala kwa kiti. Kaniita akaniambia venye mtoto ametendewa na huyo kijana kwa nyumba yake.
The family reported the matter to the police station before rushing their daughter to the hospital with reports from the medical officer in charge of Githunguri Level 4 Hospital confirming that the girl was defiled.
Serikali ichukue hatua yake, mtoto apate nini yake, apate haki yake.
Ule anatenda, huyu akitendewa hiyo kitendo anatendewa na mtoto wa ndugu yake. Siona hiyo mambo tunanyamaza. Mimi nikitendewa ninatendewa na mtoto wa ndugu yangu. Hiyo mambo inafanya nini? Huku kijiji hata ukiuliza hawa kina mama, ni mambo mengi imefanyika hapa. Ukiuliza kina mama, hiyo mambo imefanyika, lakini kwa sababu ni ndugu yangu ama dada yangu amefanyiwa na tuko related, mambo inafichwa.
Irate neighbors stormed the suspect's house baying for his blood, accusing him of being a serial criminal. Confirming the incident, Githunguri Sub-County Police Commander Mary Kaimenyi said they launched a manhunt of the suspect, identified as Paul Dhuo, adding that they have recorded statements from both the victim and her parents.
And the necessary tests were taken to ensure the safety of the child. The P3 was filled, which had all the information concerning the alleged defilement. And it came out that after the tests that it was an attempted defilement.
The police say they are ready to apprehend the suspect and charge him in court with charges of raping a minor.
Now let's take you to the various counties where a section of internally displaced persons in the 2007-2008 post-election violence converged at Ndumberi Stadium in Kiambu for prayers peace to reign in the next electioneering period, which they said acts as a reminder to Kenyans to desist from being used to cause violence in the upcoming general elections and called for peaceful campaigns and elections. Details of this and other stories in our county news.
The internally displaced persons gathered in their numbers at the Ndumberi Stadium to hold prayers for peace ahead of the next elections. 14 years down the line, most still have a fear of political chaos.
Ni usaidizi kama mahali ya mtu anaweza kupatiwa mahali pa kuishi au mahali ya au kitu chochote ambao mtu anaweza kujisaidia.
Waache kuharibu Kenya. Kenya sio ya mtu mmoja, sio ya kabila moja, ni ya kila mtu.
The remarks were echoed by Eastern Regional Commissioner Isaiah Nakoru, who called on residents to maintain peace as the country heads to the general elections and warned those bent on breaching peace of stern action.
Na wale ambao pengine wana nia ya kufuruka, wajue kwamba tuko macho, tumeweka mikakati ya kuhakikisha kwamba mambo yote yataenda sawa sawa.
Elsewhere in Magarini constituency, Kilifi County, a section of parents have demanded the removal of Ngomeni Secondary School principal, terming his appointment unprocedural.
Twaha na mtu binafsi, si twaha na wazazi. Twaha na mtu binafsi. Sasa wamalize matatizo yao nje ya hii shule, lakini shule watu achie vile vile ilivyo.
And still on education, the Hindu Religious Service Center has shipped in a consignment of books to be distributed to needy schools.
The children who get to read these books, get to receive these books, are currently doing our CBC system. The knowledge that they are getting from the current curriculum is really helping them. And this is going to be an additional material that they are going to receive and help them in their studies.
Stephanie Akiri, Prime Edition.
If you're milky for fronting, not for me. Hold on for me.
What's up, people? This is your boy DJ Shinsky. Catch me live this Friday on Easy Friday, only on KBC Channel 1. And I want to wish you guys a happy new year, happy 2022. See you guys.
Be gonna waka waka when you enter Malija. Baby gonna will you give me sugar wala ala. Macho Mona Lisa, Macho Mona Lisa, Macho Mona Lisa, Macho Mona Lisa.
Welcome back. It's time for business. Now, ever thought about Kenya Revenue Agency or even Kenya Revenue Service? The taxman is in the process of rebranding in an attempt to improve its brand perception. And it's torn between replacing the authority with either an agency or even service. The authority is now soliciting ideas from the public to help it adapt the new name. However, the public is more concerned about service rather than a name change. Our reporter Alan Naoko talked to Kenyans about the planned name change.
The Kenya Revenue Authority has been planning to change its brand name and corporate colors in a bid to endear itself to the public. The authority, that was formed in 1995, has come under sharp public scrutiny for using aggressive methods to raise and meet its revenue targets every year. Of late, the authority has been scouring the social media sites to nab Kenyans posting flashy lifestyle photos who are not filing their taxes. Through its social media platforms, KRA is asking Kenyans to choose a suitable name to replace the authority in a bid to improve its service delivery to taxpayers. The taxman says the term authority has a connotation of command, and commanding is not the real role of KRA. But many Kenyans are of the opinion that the change must not just be about nomenclature.
On the matter of a change of name of the KRA to KRS, that is Kenya Revenue Service, I don't think it will bring a lot of meaning to Kenyans if there is not going to be a lot of changes in the way they do things.
KRA is currently sealing tax gaps in a push to hit a 1.8 trillion shillings target, with efforts also geared towards a tax base expansion, which focuses on bringing on board citizens and businesses previously not paying taxes into the tax net. Some Kenyans say these targets have made the taxman overly aggressive and overzealous.
Kwanza the watu authority inaogopesha watu kama sisi huko KRA huko Times Tower tunaogopa, sababu ukisikia authority tunaona na ukienda ushikwe.
Last month, KRA announced it had collected 154.4 billion shillings in the month of October against a target of 142.2 billion. Taxpayers, however, feel they need to be more involved in such activities.
Tungependa wakuja huku mtaani watuelezee hiyo tax inalipwa aje. Unajua mimi najua sababu niko na elimu kidogo, lakini watu wengi hatujui kabisa huko KRA nini wanafanya.
Maybe to a small extent they'll maybe inspire Kenyans more, and they'll look at KRA as a service institute through the collection of taxes and other things.
The name change journey began 6 months ago when the taxman looking to do an entire public perception overhaul through a change in corporate identity and image by June next year. Many Kenyans are of the opinion that just changing the name and corporate colors for the entity that is well known for collecting revenue in the country might not be enough. They are asking for more relatable relations with the entity, saying that they need the authority to come down and talk to them about the products that they offer. Alan Naoko, Prime Edition.
Now to food prices, where the price of maize flour is set to go up as the National Cereals and Produce Board increases maize prices to 3,000 shillings per 90 kilogram bag. This is an increase of 300 shillings from the previous price of 2,700 Kenya shillings in the second price review this month. The increase in the cost of maize forms 80% of the total cost involved in the production of flour, which is already trading at a high of over 100 shillings for a 2-kilogram packet.
The latest price review comes as millers raise concern over the high cost of maize in the market amid shortage of supply, as farmers are not releasing the stocks in anticipation of good prices in the coming months. Going forward, NCPB will now pay 3,000 shillings for a 90-kilo bag from 2,700 shillings as the state corporation moves to attract more stocks in the wake of stiff competition from traders and millers. However, the increase in the cost of maize will add pressure on the price of flour, as this will see millers and traders increase the cost at which they are buying the produce from farmers in order to get sufficient stocks from the growers. The cost of maize forms 80% of the total cost involved in production of flour. Currently, a 2 kg packet of flour is retailing at over 100 shillings. NCPB Managing Director Joseph Kemota says the board initially planned to buy 500,000 bags of 50 kgs of maize, but will now review the purchase at depots in major producing areas. The board has not imposed any administrative conditions for one to deliver maize as long as the produce meets KEB's Grade 1 and Grade 2 standards. Regina Manyar reporting for Prime Edition.
The county government of Kisii has launched a 3-ton capacity cold storage facility for fish farmers in the county to control wastage and encourage value addition of the trade. The county agriculture executive, Esman Osirigo, says the project, which will benefit over 2,000 farmers, will meet the growing demand of the commodity in the county and its environs.
Kenya plans to boost fish consumption from the current 4.5 kg per capita per year to 10 kgs per capita per year by 2030, a number that might not be achieved considering the production rate in the country. To remedy this, the government has launched various programs to increase local production and reduce the importation of the highly sought commodity. Kisii County officials say the strategic position will make it easier for fish farmers to access the premises, all the while conducting sales within the market. The county government says they will partner with major fish suppliers in the county to encourage more fish farming, providing an outlet for excess output. The county has assured farmers of a market in answer to fears of excess production.
So they will not waste any more time. They will not waste any more transport to transport their fish. And even the transportation they used to do was quite unsafe, was making that fish not to be safe for human consumption.
Kisii County currently has 2,000 fish farmers and aims to have more than 5,000 by the end of 2022 to complement the diminishing land use for crop production.
For the farmers, we are guaranteeing that we are going to give you a market for your fish. So just farm your fish, we are going to buy your fish. For the traders, with the cold room here, we are saying that we are going to avail fish for you to buy. So as much fish as you want will be available for you here.
Na samaki nayo ni kitu delicate, kama uwezi handle vizuri, iko na food poisoning. Lazima ikuwe pali safi, ndio mwenye pia unampatia upatie kitu mzuri.
Traders and fish farmers expressed their gratitude for the launch of the cold storage facility, saying it will reduce transportation costs of fish from farmers and offer them maximum profits. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Ibak Saeed.
There isn't a worse enemy than your own heart. A rebellious heart.
Forget about her. She's married now.
She's not happy. I can't see her like this. A guilty heart.
I can't take it anymore, Mama. I'm sorry I forced you to marry Damien.
A determined heart. I still love you. Let's run away.
But what about my children?
Lying heart.
This could be your sister, brother, or you. Say no to gender-based violence. Say no to GBV.
I'm sorry, weren't you supposed to report tomorrow?
Yeah, that is very true, but you see, today I was very idle, and you know what they say about an idle mind, you know that.
Excuse me, this is a business management class.
So?
What does love got to do with it?
You just sold my car 10,000 shillings! And you still think they are pastors?
This message is brought to you by the government of Kenya.
Let's change gears now to sports, where defending champions Tusker displayed a master performance after beating Mathare United 4-1 to move to the 11th spot of the table. Gor Mahia suffered a shocking 2-0 defeat to Nairobi City Stars as KCB battling to a 2-2 draw with Nzoia Sugar. Two-time world 5,000-meter champion Helen Obiri will lead a line of elite runners at the San Silvia tomorrow. The double Olympic silver medalist finished second in 2018 in Madrid, clocking an exceptional time of 29:59 after a thrilling battle with her fellow Kenyan. The world marathon record holder Brigid Kosgei Obiri is the reigning global cross-country champion, will face Ethiopia's Degitu Amzor, who clocked the second fastest marathon debut in Amsterdam in 2 hours and 19 minutes and 26 seconds in 2019. In October 2020, the Ethiopian moved to 11th place on the Globe all-time list following her runner-up finish in London in a huge lifetime best of 2 hours, 17 minutes and 58 seconds. Security prison. Kibos Maximum Security Prison Tournament, dubbed Mamayao Cup, was held on Tuesday with different players showing their quality performance. The tournament was in line with the recently launched Rehabilitation, Wellness, Talent and Skills Development Program in prisons countrywide, aimed at sharpening inmate skills, hence aiding in rehabilitation through inmate active participation. This was positively culminated in enhanced inmate discipline, general health due to regular exercising, and has also kept the inmates busy, giving them a sense of purpose. The event was organized by the officers in charge, Bavin Lungatso. Now to EPL, where Manchester United interim head coach Ralf Rangnick said COVID-19 disruptions have impacted his progress since taking over the club as they take up Burnley tonight on Old Trafford. Meanwhile, Manchester City beat Brentford 1-0 to extend their head at the top of the Premier League table to take them 8 points clear as title rivals Chelsea concluded late on Brington held on for a 1-1 draw.
A couple of things to be concerned about, and VAR confirms he's onside.
Elsewhere, United's boss Ralf Rangnick said COVID-19 disruptions have impacted his progress since taking over the club as they take on Burnley tonight at Old Trafford.
Every coach, every ambitious coach, and there's no difference between other coaches and myself in that area, wants to take faster steps and larger steps forward. But in order to do that, you need to be able to train. And as you know, we had to close Carrington for 4 days.
United centre-back Victor Lindelof will miss the game against Burnley tonight due to COVID-19, while midfielder Bruno Fernandes is suspended after picking a 5th yellow card of the season in his last game at Newcastle. Manchester United are unbeaten under Rangnick with 2 wins and 2 draws and stand in 7th position in the Premier League standings with 28 points from 17 games, 7 points off 4th placed Arsenal, but with 2 games in hand. For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Well, that's all the time, unfortunately, we have for news today. But allow me to just read a few comments. It looks like there's a story that a lot of you have commented about. We spoke about KRA. Alan Oko had a report for you where they're looking to change their name. And they'd love to hear from you, Kenyans. If you could give them suggestions on their name change, should they now be called an agency? We have Ruben Kokoi from Mombasa who says, changing the name won't change much. We would like better services instead. There's also Ruth Omanga from Nairobi who says they should educate us more about KRA and their laws. And we also have Hope Mwanzia from Kitui who says that is there going to be a large payment for whichever name they take or suggestions that they take from? Well, that's it from you. And also, if you want to hear more about these stories, remember you could watch this bulletin online on YouTube. And also for more specifics, you could also check out our website and you could send us your sentiments on KBC on Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram. That's it for tonight. I wish you a very good night and see you next year.